Eric Levenhagen here, taking you down the path to true financial harmony. You know, one of the scariest business quotes that I see people buy into is to take care of people and the money will take care of itself. Now, don't get me wrong. I definitely agree with the sentiment of this quote. Great people are the cornerstone of any great business. The problem is relying on that last part a little too much. You know, taking care of your employees, your patients, your vendors, that's all very crucial. That will drive revenue into your practice for sure. But once that revenue comes into your practice, let me be very clear, it does not take care of itself, okay? In fact, over 95% of small business owners in America are struggling. Over 80% of them fail fast within the first 5 years and go out of business. The other, the leftover, the other 20%, a majority of them do something worse, I think, which is failing slow. Surviving deposit to deposit, never quite making it. Most of them are one bad day, week, or month away from having to close their doors for good. So now it doesn't matter if you're new or well established. I mean, I've seen the same issues in a $100,000 business as well as a $10 million business, right? So the corrections may not always be the same, but the struggles, the problems underlying those are usually very similar. In my experience, this happens because the owners didn't put an intentional focus on profits in their business. So let's talk a little bit about how to put profit first in your business. Starting off with how to put profit first with integrity, which is truly, is very crucial to your understanding of this. A lot of practice owners that I talk to think it's greedy or selfish to focus on profits, right? If you think this as well, I recommend you reframe your thinking. Profit is not a nasty word. It's not a four-letter word. Your optometry practice is only going to survive if you make it profitable. If you care about serving your patients at a high level, at the highest levels, the bottom line is you really need to be profitable. There's no other way around that. So what I'll spend the rest of this video talking about is something we've developed called the profit framework, where the different terms that we have actually are an acronym for the word profit to help you make it a little bit easier for you to remember. And the point of the framework is to remind you that your money has various goals, and we're not successful as business owners and in our lives unless we can fund properly, whatever that means for us personally, unless we can fund all of these specific goals. So pad and paper, take a couple notes. You're going to find this really valuable. So the P in the acronym profit in the profit framework stands for purpose. So your business likely has a purpose or a mission statement, but you should also have one for your life. If your practice is a major source of your income, your life purpose is going to be funded, at least in part, if not the majority of it, is going to be funded from the business as well. So we want to make sure we put a major focus on that. The R stands for rewards, and your business should reward you or pay you in two ways. First, it should pay you a market-based wage if you're working in the business, and we'll talk about more on that later. The second way that your business pays you is your business should reward you for taking on the risk of business ownership. So quite frankly, if you're not getting a return on your investment in the practice is just a job that you own, not really a thriving business. The O in the profit acronym in the framework stands for owner's pay and benefits. So this is the market-based wage that I referred to before. I've worked with a lot of people who cannot afford to pay themselves a decent salary. And to put it bluntly, this is not acceptable, right? If you're not paying yourself for the actual work that you do, full boat salary plus benefits, that's a clear sign something in your practice needs to change. The F stands for future growth. So if your goal is to grow and scale, look, that takes money. There are three basic ways to fund growth. You have cash, which is internally generated, otherwise known in the accounting world as retained earnings. You have equity contributions, which is you as the owner plowing money, your personal money, back into the business to make it work. And then there's debt. And debt can be used strategically, but the best way here is to self-fund a lot of your growth initiatives. The I in the profit framework stands for impact. Do you have charitable intent? What organizations or nonprofits or other causes do you want to support personally? The most noble causes in the world take capital, which means money, to meet their goals. So that money has to come from somewhere. If you want to make contributions to your community and the world, you're going to need to fund this bucket as well with your cash flow. And finally, the T in the profit framework stands for taxes. Your business should be able to pay for the income taxes it generates on its own. Period, point blank, end of story. It doesn't matter how your business is structured. If you're a sole proprietorship, partnership, a corporation, if you're still trying to fund your tax bills out of your personal savings accounts, something is wrong and broken with this model, right? Remember, your customers, your patients, they want you to be profitable. They want your best service. So they actually need you to be profitable in order to get the full experience that you want to provide them. This is how you're going to ensure you're continuing to meet their long-term needs. And I'd go as far as saying that you have a moral obligation to be profitable. So put your profit first. And by doing so, you actually are putting your people first as well.